The loud grunting that yanked me from my sleep could only be one thing: a dragon. Or so my half-asleep brain thought. Peeking outside my tent into the cool, early morning, I was relieved and slightly amused to find nothing more fearsome than a snoring camel nearby. No dragons here, just the golden dunes of the Sahara stretching endlessly under a sky that was already bright before the sun itself had made an appearance. All right, I'm in Morocco, not Middle Earth. From Fez to the dunes. The adventure began in Fez at a cruel hour 5:45 a.m. when my alarm screamed me awake. With my backpack ready from the night before, my travel buddy Emily and I piled into a van with a few other hostile comrades. As we left Fez behind, the city's rooftops glowed under the fiery red sunrise, a fitting send-off for the journey ahead. Breakfast was an assortment of breads, slathered generously with butter, honey, and cheese, because carbs are essential when you're about to cross a desert. Throughout the 9-hour drive, our non-English speaking driver expertly guided us to stunning stops, like the Mid-Atlas Mountains and the Ziz Valley, where an unexpected, lush oasis unfurled in the middle of the arid landscape. I contemplated staying there forever among the date palms, but the desert had other plans for me. First camel ride. Upon reaching Rasani, we switched to a sturdy jeep that delivered us to Merzoga, a small village at the foot of the Chibi Dunes. This was the moment I'd been anticipating and dreading. My first camel ride. Having refused elephant rides in Thailand and being generally clumsy, I was hardly camel riding material. Mounting the camel was a feat of awkwardness that involved a lot of praying and clinging for dear life. The camel's lurching motions felt suspiciously like a malfunctioning carnival ride. Everyone else looked like they were born to ride camels. Me, I was just trying to stay upright and avoid becoming a viral camel fail video. The sunset chase. Before reaching our desert camp, we stopped to climb a dune and watch the sunset. Sounds idyllic, right? What they don't tell you is that hiking up a dune is a workout that rivals any gym session. Each step sunk into soft sand, and for every 2 steps forward, I slid 1 step back. Huffing, puffing, and gasping like an old accordion, I made it to a decent height, where I could watch the sun sink behind the dunes, painting the sky in breathtaking shades of gold, orange, and blue. Night in the desert. When we finally reached camp, a feast of tagine awaited us. Our Berber hosts filled the night with rhythmic drumming and singing, their music lifting spirits and filling the vast desert air. The heat of the day gave way to a bone-chilling cold, but thick blankets and full bellies made it bearable. Lying flat on the ground, wrapped in my blanket, I gazed up at the clearest, starriest sky I had ever seen. No camera could have captured it, and no words could do it justice. It reminded me of Bali's starry skies, yet somehow felt even grander. It was a perfect moment of peace, one that no photograph could ever replicate. Sunrise over the dunes. The next morning, I woke to find the sky already tinged with soft blue, even before the official sunrise made its grand entrance. Bleary-eyed and still half-wrapped in my blanket like a burrito, I stumbled out of the tent. We wandered a bit across the dunes, hunting for the perfect spot to watch the desert wake up. As the golden light crept over the horizon, it illuminated the dunes one by one, like some giant celestial light switch being flipped by the universe's fanciest electrician. The magic of the desert at dawn isn't just something you see, it seeps quietly into your bones, leaving you wondering if you have ever truly been awake before this moment. Sitting cross-legged in the sand, hair full of dust and soul full of awe, I silently begged time to slow down. I even briefly considered proposing to the sunrise right then and there because, honestly, it had better timing and more charm than half the dates I have been on. Nature's theater was giving its finest performance, and I had a front row seat without even needing a ticket. Hunger Games. After the spectacular sunrise, we were assured it would be a short wait for the camels to return and carry us back to the hotel. Fast forward 2 hours, and there we were still camel-less, sunbaked, and getting crankier by the minute. Our group sprawled out in the sand like a collection of beached starfish, trying not to argue over whose brilliant idea it was to trust camel schedules in the first place. Some of us even started discussing which of us would be voted off the island first if this turned into a true survival situation. It probably would have been me, for suggesting we ration someone's granola bar. When our stubborn, nonchalant camels finally reappeared, we clambered aboard, aching, hangry, and contemplating the possibility of inventing camel Uber. By the time we bumped and wobbled our way back to the hotel, I swear I could have eaten a camel myself. Poolside in the desert. Picture this. You just trudged through endless dunes, fought off dehydration and sand in unspeakable places, and then suddenly a shimmering swimming pool appears like a desert mirage. That was our hotel, casually flaunting a pool next to the Sahara like it was no big deal. Surreal doesn't even begin to describe it. I spent the afternoon melting into a lounge chair, doing my best impression of a sun-drenched popsicle with a pulse. Someone suggested we try sandboarding later, and in our delirious optimism, we agreed. Armed with what turned out to be the world's saddest excuse for a sandboard and 2 cracked skis, we trekked into the dunes. It was like hauling broken furniture across a giant sandbox. After a lot of slipping, sliding, and swearing, we called it quits, and instead, surrender ourselves to yet another jaw-dropping Sahara sunset. No regrets, just sore muscles and a lot of laughter. Lost and found. As the last light faded, we somehow managed to get ourselves spectacularly lost between small desert lakes while trying to find our way back to the hotel. The glowing lights were visible in the distance, mocking us like a mirage, but crossing the marshy patches of land proved to be a puzzle we were hilariously unprepared for. We wandered around like confused treasure hunters without a map or much dignity, occasionally debating if we should just pitch another tent and call it a night. At one point, we argued over whether camels could be trained as search and rescue animals. Eventually, after plenty of laughter and a few whose idea was this comments, we stumbled back, dusty, ravenous, and with blisters we wore like badges of honor. Our reward. The best kefta dajine I had ever tasted. So good, I was ready to get lost all over again for seconds. The journey to Marrakech. Leaving Merzouga behind felt bittersweet as we embarked on an epic 12-hour drive to Marrakech. Along the way, we passed the cinematic city of Ouarzazate, where every corner looks like it belongs in a Hollywood blockbuster, walked between the soaring cliffs of Taja Gorge, and held onto the van's ceiling handles like we were riding a roller coaster as we wound through the dizzying high Atlas mountain roads. At every hairpin turn, Morocco's landscapes seemed to reinvent themselves, from endless stretches of desert to lush oases, rocky gorges, and even snow-capped mountain peaks. It was like Mother Nature was showing off, and honestly, she deserved a standing ovation. Sleep was impossible between the views and the occasional heart-stopping near misses with daredevil drivers zooming around blind corners. Still, as tired and battered as I was, my heart swelled with gratitude. I came seeking adventure, and I found resilience, wonder, and a deeper love for the wild unknown tucked into every mile of Morocco's ever-changing beauty. If you enjoyed this desert adventure, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe for more travel stories, mishaps, and unforgettable moments from around the world. Got questions about Morocco or planning your own Sahara trip? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to help. Thanks for watching. And remember, the world is too big to stay in one place. See you in the next adventure.